We hear you, Dr. Kirazmi, and of course there are a lot of claims and counterclaims emerging, and President Trump has said that the campaign against Iran is moving quite rapidly, and this is after earlier suggesting that there may be little left to strike inside of Iran, and with neither side appearing ready to back down, and also with the humanitarian and the economic costs which are mounting and are becoming harder to ignore. How realistically and who realistically holds the leverage here to bring this conflict to an end, according to you?
Yes, Americans and Israelis are coming from genocidal background. There are Epstein class people that ruling these countries. So we are well expecting the massacres. They are killing people, slaughtering women and children in Iran. 30% of the people that were murdered in this war were children. And 69 schools, 32 hospitals, all were actually bombarded. And Minab school was one of the cases that typically were now with 174 little girls to be sacrificed by the Americans. But the fact is that having a short war is not the choice of the United States. The United States cannot have the cake and eat it too. They began the act of aggression and war, but Iran many times declared that it's prepared for a prolonged war, for the war of attrition. That is something that the United States is not ready for. And just the closure of the very smart closure at Hormuz, you see that the price of the energy is surging, and however they released 400 million barrels of oil of the reserves to make it balance or alleviate for a few days. But anyway, you are getting the effects not only in the United States and Europe that is running out of gas and oil, but also in East Asia and in many other countries. So I think that the leverage is at hands of Iran. However, Iran is pressured, and as you accurately mentioned, the economic terrorism and sanctions against Iran has been for many years working and maybe weakening the Iranians' economics, but the will to defeat and actually guarantee a sort of sustainable security for Iran is so vital that it stands for.
Right, and as we understand, the conflict also risks expanding further, and new flashpoints are emerging, as you just mentioned, Strait of Hormuz, which has become quite the epicenter in the last few days. Now, many are beginning to question how sustainable this war is. Dr. Kirazmi, from your perspective, is this becoming an untenable situation for the region, or do you see the possibility of a prolonged confrontation still?
It's very much depending on the parties. You know, the United States and Israel have began this act of aggression. I think condemning them and blaming them for this chaos and mess in the region and the world is vital. I think the Europeans, the GCC countries, if they have any sovereignty over their territories, they can really stop and ban the United States to keep on operations. Until they are doing the operations against Iran, striking missiles, killing people, assassinating the officials, so Iran is in the right and legitimate position of self-defense. So it's very much depending that how these parties of the war are doing their role effectively. And maybe China, India, Russia, they are the countries that can intermediate and acknowledge the act of aggression to finish it up.
Of course, Dr. Kirazmi, as you rightly mentioned, this is still an evolving situation, and we'll have to wait and see how the variables fall in place. But for now, thank you so much for joining us in the broadcast and sharing your perspective with us.
Thank you.